And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us once again across the Louisiana plain, where we are elevating the cause of constitutional conservatism in Louisiana, elevating the cause of constitutional conservative citizens across the state, and rapidly now draining the Louisiana swamp. My name is Chris.
And I'm Danielle, and this is the State of Freedom, brought to you by freedom-loving Louisiana First Patriots. Hello, State of Freedom warriors. Thank you for inviting us to be part of your day. We are so grateful for you. You're the best listening family anyone could possibly hope for, and we are only here because of your encouragement, your prayers, and your financial support. If you are looking for a way to support us, to advertise with us, or to send us feedback, please visit our website at freedomstate.us. We'd really appreciate it if you'd also help us get the word out and spread the reach of the State of Freedom. Please like the show on whatever platform you listen to us, subscribe to it, and share it. You can share short clips instead of the full episodes from our YouTube and Rumble channels, and links to those are always in the show notes and over on freedomstate.us.
Thanks for joining us for the second part of our wide-ranging interview with Joe Hoft.
Joe, do you feel like perhaps one of the reasons why we are so acquiescent and just so reflexively responsive to every demand that the Ukrainian government makes, do you think that they have dirt on this administration, and that is part of the reason why we absolutely give them everything they want whenever they want it, even to the point of just fawning over this guy who is a singularly unimpressive figure as a political leader? Why is it? I mean, I know that we have people in our government who want war. I know that they benefit from war. The military-industrial complex in this country benefits from war. But is there maybe a deeper reason why we seem to be so particularly fixated on keeping this particular leader happy and just dripping in American money?
There's some sort of desire really to hurt Russia, take him down. It seems pretty clear. I just recently, had some people, share with me that, and I didn't know this, during the Civil War, the British helped the Confederacy. As a matter of fact, something like Gettysburg was all British guns for the Confederacy. And Lincoln had to do a blockade, and they were and there was some thought that they were involved in maybe getting the whole thing going in the first place, separating the country, maybe in an effort to somehow sneak in and take back this country they thought was theirs. And some people are saying, well, and maybe they're still doing it. The Russia collusion, who was really behind it? Well, we had the Steele dossier, and that was British. And we had Papadopoulos and Flynn and Carter Jones all being targeted. And in some of these instances occurred in Britain, if not many. And so is it a rift
Nord Stream
between...
pipeline? I don't know if the Nord Stream pipeline connected back to the UK. It certainly is a big question mark and a strong dotted line to the State Department.
Right, it sure did. So what's going on here that there's this affinity to go to war with Russia? It is it's bizarre, it's sick, but I mean, these guys got nukes. So
do you think that Putin is truly sympathetic to a change in the regime that we have here, in getting a new president of the United States? And how do you feel like he worked with Trump when Trump was president, and how do you feel like they will work together if Trump returns?
Well, that's another great question, Chris. Well, I don't know what Putin thinks. Maybe because he doesn't want the war, but he probably does. As he's become, I think, more popular in his country because of this. And I don't know if we can trust him 100%, knowing his background. And he's pretty smart, pretty political savvy. But I would think, with Trump in power, the world was a safer place. So I would think he's probably for that, unless he wants to try to take over the U.S., which I don't think he'd have that. I haven't seen any inkling that he wants to. He's grossly outnumbered in certain areas. So I think he's probably, he may know a lot on Biden. If somebody has something on Biden, it may be Russia.
the reason why I was asking you about possible dirt with that the Ukraine may have on the Bidens is because of all of the dealings with Hunter Biden, in which it's becoming increasingly evident that Joe Biden was involved, probably profited to a very, very lucrative degree there. So I think it's possible that the Ukraine actually has some pretty damaging information on the Bidens as well.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. I think
it's
certainly possible. But he is compromised. He's compromised across the board.
And, Chris, one point on that I'll just make as well. We can't underestimate the fact that this is the war they have. For these warmongers who really want to churn up the system and churn up the dollar flow to the all of the wartime machine, they'll just take the war they have. I think there's a lot of factors in play, but to me, that's one of them.
Yeah. I think that's definitely one of them. How about this, Joe? Extraordinarily interested to get your opinion on this. What is your gut feeling telling you from here on out between now and November regarding Trump's trajectory, the vicissitudes that he's facing every day, these indictments, these suits? Does he get across the finish line here?
Yeah, good question. Again, I guess we don't know. Yeah, like you've said before, Danielle, every time they do this stuff, Trump just gets more popular. I think Americans are sick of this. I think we can see through Joe Biden. I think we can see the borders broke. This incident in New York just a couple days ago where these guys beat up a cop and then they walk out and flip everybody the bird. I saw Trump put together an ad on that overnight, and it's just, it's devastating. And really, that kind of stuff is really damaging towards Biden. I think Biden's numbers are in the tank. I think they're saying this is low as Carter. He's probably even lower than Carter, and he should be. He's probably, I think, our most corrupt president ever. I never understood why Obama picked him, but now I do. I just think it's because he's just so corrupt. It's a crime family, as Rudy says. So what's going to happen between now and then? I guess probably we all foresee this something after 2020. And but then again, like Danielle, maybe not. Maybe this is all just a facade. So since nothing got done, they're just going to, and then Trump will lose and they'll all say, see, the guy's a loser. Like you heard some of these nasty people like Chris Christie say he's a loser. President Trump crushed these people. They never expected. That's why they had to shut down on election night. They never expected this guy to get so many votes.
Joe, I wanted to ask you about that because of my own personal interest, and I want to kind of visualize this in my mind. What was your election night 2020 like? From the beginning, let's say, from when the polls closed until you found out that everything had closed down for hours and Trump was losing votes. Kind of walk us through that evening. I'm so curious to hear your experience.
Yeah, well, I was in Florida. Jim was up in St. Louis. We were communicating throughout the night. I guess, and for me, I was exhausted. I'd worked really, really hard leading up to that election, trying to put out as much stuff as I could, about the truth, pro-Trump stuff, because I just love this guy. I don't, when people say, oh, he's mean or he's rude, I don't care at all. It means zero to me. This guy's been crucified worse than maybe anybody I've seen in U.S. history during my lifetime. I mean, this guy.
Well, you're in the top tier on that yourself, Joe.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, we are getting persecuted. And, like I mentioned, Media Matters. Now we're getting sued by Ruby and Shea from Georgia. They just got away with a case with Giuliani where he didn't even get a trial. And he was hit with this $150 million or so case. Well, the same group's coming after us using Ruby and Shea saying we slandered them.
I hope that Elon Musk just leaves them dry legally.
Oh, Yeah, we need some miracles for sure. And I believe there's going to be miracles. That's maybe, so there's all this dire stuff. We haven't changed the systems. There's new systems coming on that are even more sophisticated and more damaging than the old ones. They're all behind the scenes. These new systems aren't audited at all. The current systems, Dominion, they're not audited properly at all. These risk limiting audits are an absolute joke. So the scenario for the elections is not good. We've got the possibility another COVID, whatever. I don't know about that. Probably the biggest risk, and is these people are talking about assassinations and stuff. That could happen, and that could send this country into an absolute disaster. We've got all these illegals here. Many of them are of military age, if not a huge percentage. There could be a Trojan horse situation where these guys start, blowing everything up, and 100 people is not many. I think 100 people crosses the border. They could be terrorists almost every hour. It seems like they could invade, go down to Mar-a-Lago and just, 100 people start shooting away at that place. I don't think anybody's going to stop them. So there's that scenario. We've got economic scenario where everything might just fall apart.
Yeah, maybe by design. If Trump emerges from all of the prosecutorial persecutions and suits that he's facing, which all seem to be so baseless and so frivolous, from the records investigation, which he absolutely had a right to have those records. He had the right to declassify those records. They certainly had no right to go raid his Mar-a-Lago home. But if he survives all of this stuff with these suits, and then you've got the judgment with the crazy Carol woman who is just BSC, and I'm not even going to say what that stands for, but you can probably imagine. And yet he's got that he's dealing with. If he emerges from this, and it emerges even more strongly with even more support, what would be the next thing that they would try to do to keep him from becoming president? You mentioned assassination. Is that a plausible scenario? Are there people out there right now who are contemplating ways to try to take him out? Probably. It's not just Chinese either. It's people within this country, the deep state. I think so. Again, my belief is, with all these things, this country's really been blessed. We've got to do all we can and share the truth and try to really fight to make our elections fair. I think, to me, that's been my mission. It seems like that's the biggest thing. If we don't get a fair election, then it's over. And we got to do everything. You think the Republic's over if we don't win this? I for some reason, I really do. Yeah. You guys, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly why. I mean, to me, the two biggest issues in this country right now, the two biggest evils are Satan and bad elections, period. If we could get those two fixed, we'll be in really, really good shape.
Yeah. Well, I think a big step in that direction would be if we don't have, as you alluded to a few minutes ago, Joe, another draconian health protocol imposed on us by the federal government, probably acting in collusion with international forces, where they try to lock us down again and they try to reinstitute these broad-scale mail-in ballots. Because I think that while there was manipulation in the machines, a huge part of it was those mail-in ballots that couldn't be verified, and just the massive level of fraud that was committed there. That's what swung him across. I mean, we're talking about a guy who couldn't get people to pull up to his rally and honk while wearing their masks from their cars. And yet he gets 81 million votes, even though Trump wins every bellwether county, even though he gets historic numbers of minority vote, more than Reagan got since 1960. All the indications were there that he was going to handle it, and then they all these swing state precincts shut down, no more counting, and the next thing you know, when they come back up, Biden is within striking distance of Trump, and then ends up overtaking taking him. It just doesn't make any sense. But I want to got to ask you this while I'm thinking about it, Joe, because it's a point of personal curiosity for me. I see you on the national scale. I see you doing so much good. I see you, as Danielle mentioned early in the show, not only advancing your own brand and getting the truth out from your own platform, but really lifting other platforms up. I can't tell you how much help you have provided to my organization here in Louisiana Citizen Advocacy Group, by graciously publicizing to millions of your readers my stuff. And I think it's pretty good. I think it's good. It's good writing, and I think it's pertinent. But I want to personally appreciate you, and I know that I'm just one of many smaller advocacy organizations in the state that you have built up and granted because of your name broad exposure, and I thank you for that from the bottom of my heart. Part of the reason why we are getting better and better known in Louisiana and becoming a real force is really because of you. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. That's real nice of you to say that. I kind of look at it like, because I saw it with Jim. I saw when, I'm running this corporate, stream, and Jim's over here building this website. And I saw it when somebody would link to his site. I saw it when somebody would share one of his stories. It lifted him. It kept him going for another day. And it was so important. All these people, I called them little kisses along the way that he got, and that kept him going. And he didn't make any money, but he was getting some recognition, which really was certainly more than he was getting in his job. And again, it just kept him going. Eventually, it became profitable, and now it's become a monster that the left wants to crush. We talked about. So congratulations on your work. I love the stuff that you send. It's really great.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, and jumping back to your question about election night, what hit me? So Jim and I are talking. I'm exhausted. I'm thinking, finally, this thing's going to be over. And then it just went on and on. On election night, I jumped between Fox and Fox Business. They didn't put on the people that were pro-Trumpers. Lou Dobbs, Maria Bartiromo, others had to listen to Cavuto. We had to listen to Chris Wallace. And at the end of that night, I made up my mind I will never go back to Fox News. I just was so insulted by these people, basically telling me I'm bad for voting for Trump. And then I went to bed about 3 a.m, wake up and like everybody, and the results changed. Couldn't believe it. And then I was working ever, since then. And that was my election night. I was not happy with Fox News. It was the only place we could go to, and then they turned on election night. That was the thing that I remember.
Yeah,
they betrayal. Did, and didn't they call? And I think Chris Wallace got hit pretty hard for calling. I can't remember which state it was, but he called at least one, maybe 2 states way too prematurely. Maybe Arizona
and Nevada.
And Arizona and Nevada.
I'm excited to share a fantastic opportunity for State of Freedom listeners who are interested in investing in precious metals or even starting a home-based business in the precious metals industry. Metal Stacks is a precious metals collectors club where you can buy your metals at the best prices on the market, actual dealer cost. They are beating the big sites. They have no credit card fees and no minimums. If you're just interested in purchasing metals at a great price, visit metalstacks.com/dwalker. Get to shopping, that helps me out. I get the commission. You can also refer people to Metal Stacks for an additional income. If you're interested in learning about the referral business aspect of Metal Stacks, email me directly at danielle@freedomstate.us for more information.
Joe, personal question here. I said a little while ago that you're in the top echelon of political figures in the country, and certainly one of the better known throughout the country. And obviously, what you do comes with attacks, comes with getting hit, vilified, and you are no stranger to that. What is it for people like us who aspire to do the work that you're doing on a much broader scale so effectively? What sustains you? on a daily basis. What keeps you going on days when I'm certain perhaps, you feel a little bit beaten under the brow, but you keep moving every day? I never seem to see a dissipation in your energy level based upon the prolific nature of your output. It seems so consistent. So on a personal level, what is it that keeps you going?
Thanks. I'm sitting here as you're talking. There are days that you're wiped out. There's times you need to step back a bit. Don't get a lot of those. I think it's just there's something that I just think this has to be done. Has to be done. If not me, who? And I think that's the attitude we all need to have. If not me, who? Because we can't count on these other people. These institutions aren't there for us. So we've got to fix this ourselves, and it's going to take a lot of courage. It might take 20 years, like that able child, before their relevancy is really known, and their efforts to stop big pharma, for example, are finally on the table. Might take that long, might not. Little kisses along the way is the things you can do for people. Lift them up because, it's wonderful to hear all that you've shared here, because that's really what it's all about. We help each other, and we can make this country free again. And so that's why we do it. We love this country. We love each other. We love freedom,
And you still feel, I know that I do, hope for the future of our republic.
Some days not. I think
depends on how much news you watch.
Yeah, no, it's I love this country. It's so great. We've got to continue though to push that, and I think it's going to be up to our efforts and prayers, and I do expect miracles, and I do think God has blessed this country. I really do. There's episodes in this country that maybe they just the right thing happened at just the right time, like that great piece in Apollo 13, where these guys are on this spaceship. They're suffocating, basically, I guess. And they throw these parts on a table, and NASA say, okay, boys, you got to figure out here, got about an hour or whatever. You got to build some sort of ventilator or whatever it is. And here's what you got. And through, miracle, they put something together. We're able to communicate with people, including duct tape, and save these guys' lives. And, there's a lot of war stories like that. The Battle of Midway is one. So, we got to, there is a sense that, we're on the right side, and I think we are, and we've got to keep fighting for all this. Clearly, we're under attack, and evil is real, and we've got to stop it. That's it. I just hate evil too. Yeah.
Do you think at bottom, Joe, it's a spiritual warfare?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. It's good versus evil. And people like, to me, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, George Soros, how that guy ever got into this country is a shocker. And others, these terrorists we're letting in. This is just insanity. And we've got to stop it. We've got to bring back, put in place controls to stop this stuff from ever happening again.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you for what you're doing, Joe. We really appreciate you, and we appreciate your time today. I know you have a big event coming up soon that you wanted to mention to people, and maybe just share with us the name of your book again, where people can follow your work. Can they sign up for emails at joehoft.com?
Thanks so much, Danielle. Yeah, I started a website called joehoft.com because I started doing more and more interviews and started a radio show. Now it's a bit of a podcast at TNT Radio Live. So I put those up. I put my interviews up there. And then the other section is just stories that I'm writing, and then I'll share them with Jim, and he'll put them with Gateway Pundit as well sometimes. And so you can reach that information at joehoft.com, H-O-F-T. My books are available at Amazon. I also have a link to them from my site because I wanted to also kind of push my books, sell them. I think they're important to get the word out. And they've done really well, sold thousands of these books. And so as well, you can get those at joehoft.com. And pretty much the latest what's going on with me is there. And this weekend was honored this group, Able Child, who I've mentioned. They put together a recognition dinner on Saturday night in Vero Beach, Florida, where they will be recognizing 3 people One of them's Steve Bannon, one of them's James O'Keefe, and the third one's me. And I'm just thrilled and honored to be part of this.
What great company.
I know, with some superstars that I really have admired for a long time. So that's coming up this weekend. If you want any information on that too, I've got a link at joehoft.com too right now. So there's a couple seats left. If you're able to, come on out. Should be a nice dinner, nice event. So I know there's going to be some big names there as well, including my brother and others.
I'm so happy. We're so happy that you are being honored, and there's no one more deserving than you and your brother, for that matter. And I can just tell you that there are advocacy groups like ours all over the country that are building and growing and becoming more and more vibrant and making a big difference. And we're making a big difference down here in Louisiana. And these groups, ours and many others, are truly inspired by the courage that you and your brother have shown and your utter and complete tenacity in advancing the truth. And there's an old saying that one man with courage either is a majority or help can embolden a majority of people just like him. And that's what you're doing, quite frankly. So you're in our thoughts and prayers every day, and we look forward to watching what the future holds. And God willing, and with a lot of hard work, maybe we have President Donald Trump as the 47th president of the United States when all is said and done.
Yeah. Thanks so much, guys. You're just awesome. Really appreciate everything. Nice. Really nice to be here. I'm happy to come back sometime.
God bless you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. We'll take you up on that.
Great. Thank you.
Chris, what a national treasure. He has done so much work. And the thing I really love about Joe Hoft is just he's so straightforward. I think part of that is his training as an auditor. He can see the numbers and he can see when things don't add up. And like he said, he's learned how to trust his gut, but you can just get that sense from him that he's a no nonsense guy, and he's not going to take the BS.
No, he's not. And it's so interesting that he can have such a backbone and such courage and such tenacity and move forward and express very unapologetically the truth as he sees it and as we see it. Yet he's also a very humble and seemingly mild-mannered man. That combination is rare. To have that kind of true humility, it's like he truly understands the source of his power, because I believe he is a man of faith. But to have a personality that is humble and really pretty mild-mannered, it seems like, and very so deeply thoughtful, also have the kind of fire in his belly that he has. That's a pretty rare combination, and and I think that's one of the reasons why he's so effective.
Yeah. And, thinking about those 3 books he wrote on the stolen election, along with a pretty great team, he has the research chops as well. I mean, obviously we can see that from his work at the Gateway Pundit. We see that in the work he's continuing to put out at his own website, joehoft.com, but can just really appreciate that he's going after the truth in a really meaningful way. This isn't surface level stuff.
Not at all. And I truly believe that he only has one motivation, and that is to do everything that he can to preserve this republic, because I think he sees and realizes that it is teetering at this point on the brink of collapse. And I don't think that that's hyperbole for me to say that. This republic, if we do not reverse course in a very dramatic way very quickly, we are going to have serious problems, and our children will not recognize this country. And I'm not trying to be a doomsayer. I'm speaking the truth. I see what is on the wall. When you have a president of the United States who has every bit of constitutional and statutory power that he needs to shut that border down, yet he doesn't do anything, and he just blames it on the Congress, while we have massive numbers of unvetted, unknown, illegal immigration people coming into our country who we don't know. That is a crisis of proportions that I have never seen before, ever. And it's like, at what point do they do it? Now, I'm very happy and consoled by the fact that I think Texas and other states, is this your understanding that they are actually really not only arresting people who are coming in, but actually putting up barriers? The states are doing it down there, from what I understand.
Yes. Yeah, and I believe Jeff Landry's looking at sending the National Guard to Texas as well to help support that effort. But Chris, of course, I don't want us to leave on this kind of note, so I have to just encourage people. The reason that we talk about these things is we have to talk about the truth, and we have to think about what is it that we can be doing. That is really the whole reason we exist, is to tell the truth and to inspire people to action and to help you know what it is you can do. So I think if you've heard from Joe Hoft today, you've heard from several other election integrity advocates, whistleblowers over the last couple of days. This is the key issue of the moment. This is the hinge on which the history of this nation is going to turn. And we need to all be thinking about what is it we can do in our own parish, in our own town, about election integrity. What can we do in the state of Louisiana? Do we need to be becoming poll workers? Do we need to sign up to be a watcher for one of the parties? I think there's so many things that we can be doing. And that's really what we want to do, Chris, right, is inspire people to action.
To inspire people to action, which we will be doing. And you know, Danielle, the challenges that we face in our country now are certainly no more severe or overwhelming or seemingly insurmountable than the challenges faced by 56 American patriots when they signed the Declaration of Independence, declaring their independence from the largest military empire in the history of Western civilization. There was a period of time when it was said that the British Empire was so big that the sun never sets on it. And that's what our founding fathers challenged and fought against and won. And that I don't think the challenges we're facing now are any more significant than those. And I believe that we can prevail. We will prevail, but it's going to take collective, energetic effort on behalf of all of us. We have got to be roused from our apathy, and we've got to begin to understand that the Republic truly is on the line. Thomas Paine said, Danielle, at the time of the American Revolution, he said that these truly are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service of his country. But he who stands it now, he who shows courage now, will deserve the love and the thanks of men and women for generations to come. And that is where we are right now. We need fighters, not summer soldiers and sunshine patriots. And I know that they are out there and they are rising up one day at a time. Steadily, they're rising up. And if we have enough of them who are willing to fight and give the last full measure of devotion, we will save this republic. We can save the republic. And I would like to know and believe that you and I will be a small part of that victory. And we will win. And we do need to end this on a positive note. We will win. We will win.
We will. And I believe we are winning. And, one small way you can support the effort that we're doing and be part of that is by sharing the episodes. Share this. Help us get the word out about the state of freedom. The broader this message gets, the more people have the opportunity to hear more of the truth. It's like peeling an onion. And so please do share the show, like it on whatever platform you listen to it. And if you would like to support us through advertising or through donating making a monthly donation to support our efforts to keep this show going, we would really appreciate that. You can do it at freedomstate.us or send a check to the State of Freedom at P.O. Box 861, Berg, B-O-U-R-G, Louisiana. And of course, we are also fighting for the citizens, fighting for the truth, fighting for what's right and constitutional at the legislature with LACAG. And you can support LACAG's efforts at LACAG.org. And Chris, I should have the P.O. Box memorized, but I've outsourced that completely to you.
P.O. Box 64952, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 70896. LACAG is if you are a constitutional conservative, if you are disturbed by what you see in many respects when you look out on the American scene and on the Louisiana scene, we are your eyes and your ears and your voice, unapologetic in our state legislature to make sure that they are doing what they can and must and should do to assert their constitutional authority and provide the protection against federal overreach that our founding fathers intended them to provide. It is so very important. You're not being called necessarily to run for public office. You're not being called to start an advocacy program. You're not being called to start a podcast. You are being called to provide prayerful and financial support to us so that we can be your leaders and your voice where it counts the most in the state legislature. And I wanted to say this also about the State of Freedom, Danielle. I want our listeners to imagine what it will be like, visualize when the State of Freedom has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of listeners from every corner of this state, from one end to the other, one voice expressing the uncensored voice of freedom and liberty and constitutional conservatism. It will revolutionize the way political advocacy is done in the state of Louisiana. We want to be your voice. So please take the time to donate and provide financial support to the State of Freedom. I assure you it will make a massive difference in the kind of state that we have 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. Share with your friends, encourage them to donate. If we have the resources, we are unstoppable, and we will preserve freedom in this state. And every single day, Danielle, we will look back on that day and know through everything that we've accomplished that we have taken another step to preserve the State of Freedom in Louisiana, not only for us, not only for our own family and friends now, but for future generations. And that's what we are all about. So God bless you, Danielle, and let's continue to get it done and move forward, and let's win.
Amen. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to The State of Freedom. To stay on top of all the calls to action we mentioned today, just check out the show notes for the episode. If you'd like to support the show financially, visit our website at freedomstate.us. If you'd prefer to give by mail, you can send a check to the State of Freedom, LLC, at P.O. Box 861, Berg, Louisiana 70343. If you own a business in Louisiana and are interested in supporting our show by advertising, please email us at info@freedomstate.us. To get involved with Louisiana Citizen Advocacy Group, visit lacag.org, LACAG.org, or email Chris at chris@lacag.org. If you're enjoying the podcast, please subscribe and share it. Give us a 5-star rating in the reviews. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see you next time.